Edit Melina.
They say dreams are visions of our memories, thoughts and fears, as seen by our inner eye.
ये बहुत बढ़िया बड़ा भूतिया.
But what if each one of us is always
क्या भूत है
dreaming,
ये?
even when awake?
Professor Paul.
And we only see what our inner eye creates for us. Is this what hell is? A world shaped by Senua's nightmares. Maybe that's why people fear seeing the world through our eyes.
Take it, sword.
Because if you believe that Senua's reality is twisted, you must accept that yours might be too.
HELLBLADE Senua.
HELLBLADE Senua's Sacrifice is a video game about Senua, a Celtic warrior on a vision quest into Viking territory. But what sets our hero Senua apart is that she suffers from severe psychotic mental illness.
He knows she's getting closer. He can feel her coming closer. She's getting closer. They're watching. They're watching.
The original idea for HELLBLADE was to create a classic hero's journey, a journey of suffering, but one where the fantasy world is not another planet or alternate universe, but a world that is constructed in Senua's mind. But to do so would mean putting psychotic mental illness at the center of the experience, a subject that is still considered taboo, and a challenge that was both terrifying and exciting in equal measure. In HELLBLADE, the starting point was a newly discovered Celtic goddess called Senuna in Ashwell, Hertfordshire. When first discovered, her name was thought to be Senua, a name which I liked and kept. I wondered if Senua might have been a Celtic warrior like Boudica who stood up to the Romans. While the Romans had conquered all of Europe, there was a group of Celts up in the furthest reaches of the Roman Empire that could not be conquered, the Picts. And so the Romans built a wall, called Hadrian's Wall, that spans across Britain from sea to sea to keep the Pictish barbarians at bay. The Picts were known for their war paint, painted on with woad, and their matted hair clumped with lime. And so Senua would be a barbarian Pict in this image.
What's your name?
Senua.
I haven't seen you before.
I don't live home much.
Oh, Zeno's daughter.
I have to go.
Wait.
Orkney is off the coast of Scotland and was inhabited by the Picts, steeped in history and mystery, and so I made Orkney Senua's
काफी
home
रिसर्च करके इस
and
गेम
set
को
the
बनाया गया
stage
गाइस.
for a crisis.
काफी रिसर्च किया गया इस गेम को बनाने के लिए.
In the late 8th century, the first Vikings landed on the Orkney
18th
Islands.
century के ऊपर बनाया गया है. वो इसलिए कहूँ कि इतना
replaced
क्यों
by the Norsemen of the 9th century.
historical दिख रहा है ये.
Were they wiped out? We don't know for sure, but it would seem likely given the reputation of the Vikings. The Northmen's brutality is legendary.
ये लोग imaginate कैसे कर पाते हैं that 18th century and then that time को imaginate कैसे कर पाते हैं कि उस टाइम पे क्या थे और क्या मतलब कैसे रिसर्च के बेस पे
I imagine Senua as a young female warrior.
उन लोगों की थिंकिंग प्रोसेस क्या थी, वो लोग कैसे लोगों के साथ ट्रीट किया करते थे एंड वो लोग की लिविंग लाइफ कैसी थी.
I imagine the horror of this moment and how it would have dragged her deep into mental torment.
ये बहुत टफ है गाइस इमेजिनेट करना कि उस समय में क्या था, विजुअलाइज करना, फिर उसे इम्प्लीमेंट करना एज अ गेम थ्रू एंड घोस्ट को रिप्रेजेंट करना, बैकग्राउंड से साउंड आना, लोगों पे अत्याचार करना और मैजिक, यूज द मैजिक, ब्लैक मैजिक.
I came to learn that the Celts had a sophisticated
white
and
magic
nuanced perspective
used
on the
to
nature of mental
help us
disorder. One term
human.
they used was Gelt. A Gelt is a man or woman who has been driven mad by a curse, battle trauma, or grief. The Gelt would take to a life in the woods in search of penance, punishment, and purgation. And so Senua became a Gelt, cursed by darkness, looking for redemption in the wild.
ये देखो, इसको जब होश आया था कहाँ पड़ी हुई है, जंगल में,
Another word the Celts used in reference to mental disorders was truth, meaning fool, or one who utters the words of God.
Real character.
They tell of the mad sinner who flees battle into exile and takes on a beastly nature, growing feathers on his body. The character called
ये
Truth
लोग
in
next
Hellblade
level
is
का
based
guys
on a
editing
little-known
करते हैं,
person
film
called
making करते
Findan,
हैं.
an 8th century Irish Celt who was captured and enslaved by the Vikings. It eventually escaped to
इन लोगों
Orkney,
का
where he became a
कैरेक्टराइजेशन
monk.
देखो, ये वाला सीन अभी हम लोग कर चुके हैं. पार्ट 1 में आपको ये मिलेगा. मेरा जो पार्ट 1 चैप्टर आने वाला है उसमें आपको ये मिलेगा ये सीन.
Upon meeting Senua, it would be his stories that fuel her quest deep into their
कैसे
world
रियल
of
लाइफ को
gods.
गेम के साथ अटैच करता है ये
The
लोग.
world will come to an end. The sun will grow black, the earth will sink into the sea, the stars will disappear, fire and water will meet, flames will play against the sky, the heavens and earth and all the world will be burned, all the gods will be dead, and the warriors of Valhalla and people everywhere. Senua, prepare yourself for Ragnarok.
My favorite character. Oh, ये
So
भी
the
रियल है.
stage was set
रियल
for a
कैरेक्टर को
new
यहाँ पे यूज
adventure,
किया
a
गया
journey
है.
into the Norse underworld called Hell, a vision
Yes,
quest
yeah,
fueled by
guys.
madness and myth,
काफी
a
मेहनत किया
fantasy
है.
that was
इस गेम को बनाने में
created by
काफी
Senua's
मेहनत किया
own
गया है
mind,
guys.
and one that we would experience through her eyes.
ऐसे सारी गेम को बनाने में मेहनत किया ही जाता है, पर हाँ, अगर इस टाइप की हमारे पास भी इक्विपमेंट हो तो मजा आ जाए ना
To
नेक्स्ट
make
लेवल
a
के
game
आदमी.
about a warrior with psychotic mental illness as its
ये लोग
central
देखो
theme
एक्सपर्ट
was
लोग,
filled with
गेमिंग
danger.
एक्सपर्ट लोग हैं ये.
Mental illness such as psychosis is still taboo and rarely acknowledged in a century of cinema, never mind the new medium of games. Where it does feature, it often conflates psychosis and psychopathy associated with a lack of empathy. It is unfortunate that these two words sound so similar that they are used interchangeably in media. I must admit that I didn't have to look very far to discover my own ignorance of the subject. So we reached out to Paul Fletcher, psychiatrist and professor of health neuroscience at University of Cambridge.
Psychosis is a descriptive term, and it refers to having a loss of contact with objective reality. So it's characterized by two main sets of symptoms. One of them is hallucinations, where somebody experiences perceptions when there is no actual objective thing out there to perceive.
Who are you?
And the other is delusions, where somebody comes to very
ये
often
कहना चाह रहा है कि कैसे कि इंसान को अगर मेंटली अगर डिस्टर्ब हो जाए तो उसे
no good evidence in favor of them.
कुछ चीज़ें उसे सुनाई देने लगती है जो नॉर्मल इंसान को नहीं सुन पाता या फिर उसे फील कर पाता है, क्योंकि शायद वो किसी और फ्रीक्वेंसी को भी एब्जॉर्ब कर सकता है, उससे समझ सकता है. ये
We reached
प्रोफेसर ये
out to
कहना चाह रहा है.
Wellcome, a biomedical research charity that spends billions on research and awareness programs aimed at improving
तो
health.
काफ़ी पैसे खर्च किए गए हैं इन सारी चीज़ों को रिसर्च करने के लिए एंड प्रूफ करने के लिए.
It can be challenging to engage people with the subject
ये जो
matter.
फ्रांस,
There are a lot of
इटली या
preconceived
इन
ideas
जैसे
about mental health,
लोग जो है
particularly schizophrenia and
वही
psychosis.
मतलब इस टाइप
So we
के,
hope our support
ये एक
allows
बीमारी
the
है
team
जो
to continue to collaborate with Paul
इंसोफ्रेनिया
Fletcher
क्या नाम है
and
इसका,
with those who have experience of
इस टाइप के
psychosis to create a game
इस बीमारी
provides
है,
a
इसको
fresh
मतलब
perspective on the condition
इंसोफ्रेनिया करके एक
and
बीमारी है.
allows audiences to engage with it in a way that just wouldn't be possible in any other medium.
What
इसको
started
समझने के
out
लिए
as a
काफी
brief
खर्चा किया गया है.
consultation convinced me that
ये
we
कैसे
were
माइंड
only
वर्क करता है,
scratching
कैसे
the
एक
surface of
पर्सन
an immensely
इस चीज
deep
को
and interesting subject that could enrich and change the very nature of the game.
That's cool. Thanks so much for coming here.
Pleasure. Thanks. It was really interesting for me. I'd love to be involved. It's fascinating.
Our understanding of psychosis is still very much a mystery, and ways of treating it are still primitive
mystery.
compared to physical illness. After all, it is easy to see the pain and suffering caused by physical diseases or physical trauma. It is not so easy to see the mental suffering and trauma of severe mental
ये
illness.
पूरा गेम मेंटल के ऊपर बनाया गया है कि कैसे इंसान के ब्रेन अलग अलग वे में कैसे काम करने लगता है जब वो डिस्टर्ब होता है, किसी तरह से इफेक्टेड होता है या उसे चोट लगी हो या फिर अदरवाइज कुछ भी रीजंस हो, बहुत सारे रीजंस हो सकते हैं. इंसान जो अपने अंदर से चेंज होता है उसी चीज को ये रिप्रेजेंट किया गया है.
But how can we simulate something we have no first-hand experience of? Professor Charles Fernyhough, a leading expert in voice hearing from Durham University, offered his help.
Hearing voices is an experience that is usually associated with severe mental illness, and crucially we know that hearing voices is a part of ordinary life for many people who don't meet the criteria for mental illness.
Yeah. Oh, that's not him in real life.
We know voices vary according to where they appear in space. Voices can appear far away in the distance, they can appear right there in your ear, they can seem to be coming from inside your head.
Based on the information Professor Fernie Ho provided, I put together a sound brief and invited some actors
wow,
to the studio.
इसके साउंड को कैसे
who
3D में
recorded
बनाने
the
के लिए
actors using a
अलग-अलग
binaural
पोजीशन से इसको साउंड दिया
microphone,
गया
which
है.
records the 3D spatial position of sound, replicating the way sound
क्या
is
बात
heard
है
by
guys.
human ears. It gives you an incredible
कैसे
sense
इस
of
साउंड
the
को
person
डिजाइन
you're
किया गया
listening
है,
to
अलग-अलग
is
एंगल
right
से
there
अलग-अलग
beside you.
पोजीशन से 3D साउंड को जनरेट किया गया है ताकि आप जब गेम खेल रहे हैं तो वैसे ही फील हो. आप ये गेम खेलोगे तो पता लगेगा कि हाँ कैसे इस साउंड को डिजाइन किया गया है.
Came to our studio with 2 young voice hearers to
काफी
speak to
मेहनत
our
किया गया है
team.
इस गेम को बनाने के लिए
We
गाइस.
talked at length about their experiences and they listened to our tests, giving us feedback on how we could improve on it.
Everyone hates her. She's cursed.
It's very hard to represent what this experience is like, partly because it's such a personal, intense, emotional experience. It's testament to how Ninja Theory have been listening to what the researchers are saying, but also crucially listening to the experts by experience. What they've come up with is so compelling. It's by far the best representation I've heard of what these experiences are like.
Other common attributes of psychosis are visions and flashbacks. We met with Recovery College East, who work with and care for people recovering from severe mental disorders. A group of service users gave us their first-hand account of what they experience.
Sometimes when the vision or what we're seeing is too much, we become more different.
रियल वर्क तो ये लोग कर रहे हैं, रिसर्च एंड देन नेक्स्ट लेवल का
People we spoke
एक्सपीरियंस
to,
तो
the stories
फील.
they told were fascinating,
हम लोग तो कुछ कर ही नहीं रहे.
mind-boggling. The reality of what people experienced was vivid, far exceeding what I could possibly have imagined. We went away itching to represent some of these visions and flashbacks in the game.
As we all know, my heart is so, love is so far away. Don't you know how I wanna feel deeper? I could never know how you grow, all these days are killing me. Now I see deep in me, insanity does unfold. I just wanna feel deeper, deeper. I just wanna feel deeper, deeper.
इस साउंड को भी 18th सेंचुरी के टाइम के हिसाब से डिजाइन किया गया है कि हाँ उस टाइम पे इस तरह का साउंड को फील अप वो लोग करते थे. वेल तो फिलहाल इस वीडियो में इतना ही दोस्तों, एंड मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट चैप्टर में. तो तब तक के लिए हैव अ गुड डे, बाय बाय. और आप इस सॉन्ग को एंजॉय कर सकते हो. Feel deeper.
I could never know how you grow, all these days